Hello, geometry for Mr. Fry. This is your accommodations and interventions for the Unit 4 test. And this is for February 5th, 2021. I'm going to read through this and give you a little bit of guidance as much as possible on these. Here we go. Number one, which of the following is the correct classification of triangle MNP if angle M is 35 and angle P is 47? Well, you'll have to subtract 35 and 47 from 180 to figure out what angle N is. And then from there, you should be able to determine whether it's equiangular, acute, right, or obtuse. Okay? Remember, it's going to be acute if all of the angles are less than 90. It's going to be right if you have a 90-degree angle. It's going to be obtuse if one of the angles is more than 90. For number two, which of the following is the correct classification of triangle WXY given these points? This is extra credit. Remember, you'll have to use the distance formula that I have written here for you, where it is D equals the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And in this, I started to do the first one for you. I did WX here. I did XY here. And I did W and Y here. And you get 8.6, 7.2, and 9.2 for your side lengths on there. So from point to point. So would that be equilateral, isosceles, or scalene? Equilateral means they're all the same. Isosceles means two are the same. And scalene means they're all different. Number three. Find the measure of each missing angle. So one thing you should know is that 2 is going to equal this because of vertical. And then once you figure out what 2 is, you could take 180 minus the 68 and minus whatever 2 is to figure out what 1 is. To figure out what 3 is, you take 180 minus 93 to figure out what 3 is. And then you're going to take 180 minus the 49 minus whatever 3 is to get 4. Okay? Pause this, slow this down, rewind it for whatever steps that you need to hear a little bit more thoroughly. Find the measure of each missing angle. I marked here for you, since these two are parallel, we have alternate interior angles here. And so these two are going to be the same. So, 3 is going to be the same as this. So you're going to take 180 minus 63 minus that 3 in order to get 2. You're going to take 180 minus 90 minus 38 to get your 1. And so you can write those down. For number 5, solve for x. You're just going to take all of these and add them up to equal 180. And then solve for x. Number 6, you're going to take all of these and this one that I included here for you. This is you got to take the inside angle here. So it's going to be 180 minus, in parentheses, 17x minus 23. So you're going to have to write it out like this. Okay, so you're going to have 8x minus 4 plus 3x plus 17. 3x plus 17, yeah. Plus 180 minus 17x minus 23. And that's all going to equal 180. Now, when you get to this, you're going to have to distribute that in. So the first step is going to look like this. Let me just rewrite all this. Really helping you out here. This is minus 17x. And minus a negative 23 is going to be plus 23. That equals 180. Okay? combine your like terms, solve for x. Find the measure of k. So you're going to solve for x by adding up all of these to equal 180 and solve for x. And then plug that x value into this equation. And then that's going to give you the measure for angle k. For number 8, just like for number 6, this angle is 180 minus this. Okay, so you're going to set it up just like you did for number 6. So you're going to add the 180 minus parentheses 9x minus 26. Don't forget to use the distributive property when you go do that like we did up here. Plus 2x minus 12 plus 4x plus 43, and that's going to equal 180. Solve for x, and then plug that x value into 4x plus 43 to find the measure of angle C. Number 9. If this is an isosceles triangle, that means these two angles are the same. So you're going to have two of these, so 2 9x plus 1 plus 88 should equal 180. And this is what I'm saying. 2 9x plus 1 plus 88. Okay, so you're going to use the distributive property, and then you're going to combine your like terms and solve for x. For number 10, these two equal each other. So solve for x. I have them set equal to each other. So you're going to solve for x, figure out what these two angles are, and then take 180 minus angle x and z, minus angle x minus angle z, and that's going to give you angle y. Okay? Number 11, we're going to solve for x. This means all three are the same. All three angles, if all three sides are the same, equilateral, that means all three of these are the same. If all three of these are the same, to make it easier, you could go this route, you'll get the same answer, but try this. It's going to mean that it's 60 degrees, so this is 60, 60, 60. So 17x minus 8 equals 60. Just do that. So, because 3 times 60 is 180, so we don't need to do all that 3 times stuff. So just do that, and then solve for x. Make it easier on you. This is a long test, so anything we could do easier would be the way to go. Okay, 12. If WXY is equilateral, so WXY is equilateral, so that means this side is equal to this side is equal to this side. Okay, so that means these angles are going to be 60 degrees. The whole thing's 60. The whole thing's 60. Okay, and WZY is isosceles. That means these two angles are equal to each other. Find each missing angle. Measure. So I'm going to take 138 plus 2x equals 180. So I have this x and this x. I added x's down there. There's 2 of them, so I just solve for x. And then when you're looking for your angles 4 and 2, so when you solve for x, that's going to give you 3 and 5. When you're looking for angle 2 and 4, you're just going to take 60 minus x to get 2 and 4. Okay. Angle 1, I just told you, they're all 60. These are 60, so this angle 1 60 because it's equilateral triangle. So I gave you one there, a freebie. 13, if triangle GHJ is an equilateral triangle, GH is equal to 5x minus 13. HJ is 11x minus 61. That's all I need to know right now. If it's equilateral, we know that these two are going to be the same. Okay, so I could just set these two the same. I could set any of them to be equal to each other because it's equilateral. They're all equal. Solve for x, and then just go ahead and plug that x back into this equation to figure out what each one is. You'll get the same answer since they're equilateral. You should have all the same answer. For GH, HJ, and GJ should all be the same answer. But your x is going to be different. Solve for x by just doing this problem. number 14, if RST, in RST, if angle S is congruent to angle T, I have that marked here, and RS is 9x minus 13, and ST is 10x minus 3, and RT is 4x plus 2, find x. So these two are good. You're going to set equal to each other. Okay, once you set these two equal to each other, so it's going to be 9x minus 13 equals 4x plus 2. Solve for x, and then plug that into each one of these in order to get these measurements. Solve for x, put that answer here, plug in your x value to each of these equations to get RS, ST, and RT. For number 5, ACD, if AC is the same as AD, that means these two angles down here are going to be the same. So you could set 5x plus 1 is equal to 7x minus 27. Okay? Solve for x, and then go ahead and plug that x value into the A equation, C equation, and D. Okay? And then you find out those measures there. Your C and D should be the same. C and D should be the same because it's isosceles. So for number 16, EFG is congruent to HJK. I drew it, EFG and HJK. And you could see I made the marks for what sides are the same and which angles are the same. So if it has 3 hash marks in it, that means it's 3. So G and K are going to be equal to each other when we're talking about angles. And then the sides, you can see which ones are going to be the same. You just follow the order in which they are listed in the description. Okay? And then, however, this is changed, you got to change this in the same, put it in the same order that this was changed. For 17, if triangle PQR is congruent to STU, so it goes that way, complete each part. I marked everything for you so that you could use this. This is 1, and this is 2 and 3. So 1 is equal to 1, 2 hash marks is equal to 2 hash mark side, 3 hash mark side is equal to 3 hash mark side. Okay? And then same with the angles. This angle is congruent to this angle is congruent to that angle, this angle is congruent to that angle. Knowing that, you can answer all of these. Number 18, what method can be used to prove the triangles below are congruent? Know that we have vertical angles as equal to each other too. Let me put 2 there because there's 1 here. Okay? So that should help for number 18. Number 19, what method can be used to prove the triangles below are congruent? I marked, since these are parallel lines, these alternate interiors are going to be congruent to each other. Okay? This side is going to be congruent to itself. Okay? So that should help you answer number 19. Number 20, what method can be used to prove the triangles below are congruent? And so they have everything marked for you. So would it be SAS, AAS, ASA, or not possible? Okay. And number 21, what method can be used to prove the triangles below are congruent? Remember that this side is going to be shared by this triangle and this triangle, so it's going to be the same. So that should help you answer number 21. Okay, hopefully this helped, and good luck on the test. And that's the end of it. All right, good luck.